Welcome back, friends, to Visions Veiled and Violent. In the last episode, our teen heroes, aided greatly by the great sword of Adewale Stormbringer, defeated the monstrous psychedelic toad that had assaulted us in the corrupted tent of illusions. Looking through the remains of the toad, our friend Jericho discovered a strange stone disc which held an ominous message of shadow overcoming Zyothe. After getting Old Strem, the grandfather of the troop, to take a look at the object, the Zatis learned that the disc and the magic that overwhelmed the tent were demonic in nature. Equally foreboding, our rogue friend Luthander confided to the party that he had been having visions since picking up the lucky blade that Smedley had given him. Surrounded by ominous warnings and desperate for answers, our party finally allowed Hanataz's curiosity to overcome us, and we opened the mysterious package that Luthander had received from the blue-skinned pirate. Inside, we found another strange message, which my little brother, Nevitz, and I were able to at least partially figure out that it was a reference to the three gods that look after us Hanataz. Still in need of answers, our party was just about ready to go and seek out the counsel of Mother Sylvenza, when we found out that the tent we had sequestered ourselves in had been tied shut from the outside. Rather than being another prank by the jesterful Zani, we instead heard a voice from the outside that said he wouldn't let us stop him from killing his targets. And then we smelled smoke, as the figures Luthander had seen in his visions lit fire to the tent, with us still trapped inside.
Because when we last left off, we had 5 Hanataz Zadis in a tent that had just had the tent flap tied shut and lit a flame. So the ball goes back to the Hanataz court to see how are you going to get yourselves out of this one, Zadis?
And Nate, just to reiterate, the last word we heard from the person starting the fire was, "I will kill the other two without the knife."
That is correct.
Jericho is like looking around wildly as the flames whip up across the tent. She's frozen.
And Luthander's thinking, wait, we've got the tent, we've got a knife. That seems like there's a solution. But actually, just a mechanics question, Nate. Is this some sort of... I mean, this is like a big canvas tent, right? It's not...
Correct. Yep.
So, okay.
I mean, it's been staked to the ground, so you can't just push your way out from under the tent. But it is canvas. Flammable canvas I would put out.
What is in this tent? Is it just storage? Is it for a different show? Nevitz is actually more worried, or equally worried, about this tent fire spreading to the rest of the Carnivale. He thinks we can extricate ourselves from the tent, as Luthander said, by cutting a hole in the side, but he is worried about this thing becoming an infernal.
So this is the backup tent for the Tent of Illusions, and so the floor is just dry straw and some bales of hay stacked up, so that way the enchanters could make magical mazes out of it with their illusions. But right now it's empty, just full of very flammable things.
I think Nevitz is going to take a cue from Luthander then and race towards one of the tent walls, pulling out his scimitar to cut a hole in the side of it.
Luthander will pull the magic dagger out in case that's of any use.
Okay.
In case there's weird magic afoot around the tent, you know.
Well, there's weird magic being afoot has been a bit of a daily theme. So first, Nevitz, give me an attack roll against the tent side panel.
19 on the die for a 25.
Ooh, yeah. Now roll damage.
5 on the die for 9 points of damage.
So Nevitz, you're able to keenly slice a Nevitz-sized hole right through the tent flap, about 3.5 feet high.
I knew you were going to pull that, and I didn't change ahead of time. Fair enough.
You know, exact words. Big fan. Meanwhile, Lathander, as you grip the knife, give me a wisdom saving throw.
I gotta stop gripping this knife. Terrible idea. I'm gonna fall over and get...
There's so many things that I want to say in response to that I cannot for a family-friendly podcast.
No, please, go ahead. Oh.
No,
Oh. It's as bad as it could possibly be. It's a natural 1.
I don't think I'm making this up. Your rolling has gotten so much worse since you've come across this lucky blade.
Yep. Yep. Nate looks so pleased right now.
I don't know. No, I'm bummed. I'm super bummed about your rolling there. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not even going to bother with my wisdom modifier. Yep.
You know, it's fine. It's fine. So, Lathander, as you grip the hilt of this, now that you know to be enchanted knife, you're suddenly thrust out of your body to where you now perceive a pair of elderly folk, one man, one woman, the man being considerably older, but the woman still well past her mothering years, both in priestly garment, chatting merrily, eating some of the humber nuts from the sweets tent, and the old man sipping on one of the tankards of ale from the tent of warm feelings, and they're walking down a little winding forested path back towards the town of Nevermore. So you can see this from this high angle perspective, almost like you're looking down from the trees, and out of the corner of your eye, you can see some figures in the very distant periphery of your vision that appear to be following them. Otherwise, your senses have completely left your body, so to the rest of the group, it looks like Lathander is just standing there, slack-jawed, mouth open, eyes wide and vacant, in the middle of the burning tent. What do Adewale, Jericho, and Moore do?
Well, is there a hole? I mean, I know it's Nevitz-sized, but is it open? Can I just sprint towards the hole and help tear it open? I'm gonna do that if that's possible.
So the tent is canvas, so if you try to tear it open with like your raw strength, you're relying on...
I mean, I also have a knife as well. I can help, hack at the tent as well. Like
widen the gap?
Yeah, just like if he's torn a hole open, I want to get in there and make that hole even bigger.
Okay. Yes, Jericho, please do so. Roll to I almost said knife that hole, but I'm gonna reel that one back. Roll to widen the opening.
Yes, right.
No matter what you say, it's gonna sound bad.
Check. What am I doing here?
Attack roll.
Oh, okay. In that case, that's a 15.
All right, that'll hit. And so, what's the damage on it?
Okay. I believe that is a D4, right?
Dagger, yes.
That
Jesus
is
Christ.
2 points.
All right. And so you managed to rip this this gap wider and higher up to where it's now about 5 feet from the ground. So someone can stoop and push their way through, unless they happen to be, a giant or catatonic. Moore, what are you doing?
Yeah, I have a mechanical question.
Please.
So, because I'm out of spell slots, because again, same day,
It is
no
same
long
day.
rest. Yep. Sacred Flame isn't like a fire spell, but the description says it's like more of a radiance. But the description says it has to be a creature that I can see. Is a tent a creature?
It's a
Tent
dead
is not a creature. No.
Dead cow.
What if I give it a name? Then it's intense.
Barring philosophical debates about the nature of creatures, mechanically, no, it's not a creature.
Darn. Okay. Okay. I also have a dagger, but I have -2 strength.
We already tore a big hole.
I'm gonna go to the only problem I can solve. I'm gonna go to Luthander, because it's obvious that he's out of it, right? Like he's just holding a knife.
Yep.
Just like, okay. So I'm just gonna
Standing
go
there, staring ahead blankly.
He's wigging.
I'm gonna slap him and just say, Luthander, pull yourself together. We have to get out of here.
Okay. Roll unarmed strike.
Okay. Oh, I have dice. 15 on the die.
That'll do it.
13. Okay.
Okay. A 1d4 plus your strength modifier.
So 1.
1.
Yep.
All right. That 1 point of damage is going to be enough for Lathander to get a retry on his wisdom save.
Yes, that's what I was hoping. That is 18 on the die, 21.
Ooh, yeah. So all of a sudden you've just, like someone has grabbed hold of your eyeballs and yanked them back by some invisible chain. You feel all your senses go whooshing back until you are inside your body again.
Awesome. And I'm putting the dagger away somewhere it's really hard to reach. My pack.
Fair
All
enough.
right.
Adewale, what are you doing?
All right, step away from the tent, everybody. And I'm gonna take my greatsword out, And I'm gonna slash at it to make my own little flap.
Please do.
Okay, that's a 14. And 6 total.
6. And so, as you swing your blade down in a swooshing arc, the edge of it catches the top of the tent, slicing from the ceiling all the way down to the ragged flap that Jericho and Nevitz had made, both simultaneously widening the opening they'd made and causing the tent to begin to collapse in on itself.
Went exactly as planned. Everyone out.
Yeah, I'm running out.
Yeah,
Run away?
Nevitz,
Yep.
Well, Nevitz is going to race out, and he's going to immediately look for some sorts of water so he can start bailing water over to put out the tent and make sure the fire doesn't spread. And he will shout out fire.
Oh yeah,
I think we're meant to stay near the exit until a warden instructs us to evacuate in an orderly fashion. And the evacuation tone sounds.
Nah.
No, let's run. Okay, done. Let's get out of here.
All right. And so as you shout out fire, you see the gathered crowd of Carnivale visitors first all stare in unison, shocked at this sudden conflagration. And then you see various Hanataz all rushing up as fast as they can to provide some sort of aid. What are you going to do in the meantime?
It seems to be under control, right? So, can we see the people that set this alight, Nate? Assume there's a lot of people around. It's not obvious, but
There are a lot of people. Give me a perception check there. See if you can spot anyone who looks unusually suspicious.
that is 13 on the die plus 7 is 20.
Ooh.
So it looks like with all the milling about, you can't quite get a bead on any one person in particular who looks like they had something to do with your most recent predicament.
Shall we carry on? If there's no immediate danger?
Yeah, I say
anyone
we
else?
go to Mother Silvenza and just be done with today. Just tell her what's happened, have her confirm that this is out of our hands, and then take a long rest.
Before that, Moore or Luthander, have either of you had visions that might say where the next attack would be? From what you said, Luthander, there are 2 more killings that are in the offing. And again, they will definitely blame the Hanataz.
That's a good point. I haven't told everyone what I saw, so I will relay the information that we just, yeah. So I'll repeat that story on the way to find Mother Silvenza. I assume, Nate, it would be reasonably obvious where they are. We've been in this spot for a while, so we would have some sense of where the vision was that I had.
So that is a good question. Give me a survival check to see if you can orient based on where your senses had been.
10 plus 3, 13.
So you sense that you were somewhere up high, but you can't quite intuit where exactly that would be. You do know that the town is north of the Carnivale, so presumably some of wherever this path was that the people were taking is to the north of you, but whether that's directly in front of you, to the west, to the east, you can't quite discern.
Okay.
Having heard Luthander describe the point of view that he was seeing this vision, Nevitz wants to look up and see if there's any sign of that mechanical bird that was following us earlier.
Nevitz, give me a perception check.
Oof, 9 on the die for an adjusted 11.
Advantage because you know exactly what you're looking for.
We're going to go with the original 9 on the die for an adjusted 11.
Okay, yeah. So no, you, from your perspective, as the other Hanataz rush over to aid in putting out the tent fire, you're just too short to see where those treetops might be. It's a cruel world for short folk. And is anyone helping to try to put out the blaze out of curiosity? You don't have to, just wondering.
Do they look like they have it under control?
Define control.
Is the fire shrinking or getting bigger?
The fire isn't quickly getting bigger.
Does it look like it could spread to other tents?
Well, the other tents
Look like it'll
are
burn
quite
out.
flammable, and there is straw all over the ground to make pass through the soft mud.
recognizing that he's not going to be able to bail water all that rapidly since it takes a lot of strength, and Nevitz will try to race around the tent and kick all the straw hay away from being a connector between the burning tent and any other tents.
And so, Nevitz, as you do so, you see a familiar Harlequin figure running up with a wooden bucket, shouting out, "Oh, hey, Nevitz, don't worry, I've got some water for you."
Does Zani actually have water in the bucket, Nate?
He does, as Zani stops and tosses the water onto Nevitz.
Zani, the time for play is not right now. We need to put out the fire.
Ooh, where's Robert? Can I go search for him?
Yes, you can go search for Robert. Given the chaos all around, it's not quite clear. You are about 80 feet or so from where the livestock pens are, and another 100 feet or so from where the beast wagons are.
Okay, I'm gonna sprint over there, calling to like every strong person I see running that way, like Adewale, and is Luthander strong?
Nope.
No, okay, so definitely not him. And I just like anyone I see, I call them to like follow me.
There are many types of strength. Let's not presume too much here.
I've been doing. Yeah, Luthander's been doing lots of push-ups since his date.
Can I see where?
And then as we close in on Robert, I'm just gonna be like, Robert, how fast can you web a tarp-size web to carry water?
So you see that the enormous spider turns to you, its eyes gleaming with curiosity as it asks, "What is tarp?"
Okay, just web in a square, a very big square, Robert.
So and Robert begins eagerly padding after you, his 8 legs kicking up straws as he goes. Jericho, what were you doing?
Sorry. So my question is, can I see where Zani's at over there?
Yeah, you can see where he just chucked a bucket of water in Nevitz's face.
I'm just gonna kind of shake my head and put my hand on Zani's, look at him, and then in Nevitz's voice I say Zani. And then I wave my hand, and some text appears. Did you see who who came to this tent after you?
And Zani shakes his head, the little bells on his hat jingling. "Oh, I sure did."
Who was that?
Oh, it was about 3 nasty-looking townies.
I look at Nevitz. Well, I'm like, go on. I kind of gesture to Nevitz.
In which direction did they go, Zani?
Oh, I wasn't paying attention.
Zani, was there anyone else standing outside of the tent besides those 3?
Not counting me and you guys?
Zani, go fetch more water.
Oh, sure. As he pads off the bells in his hat jingling, he runs off to the trough to go scoop up more water. As Robert and Moore come scampering up, the crowd parting to make plenty of room for the huge spider.
So my idea was to have this like tarp and like put as much water and like have a bunch of strong people carry it towards the fire. Spiderwebs can carry water.
That learns something new every day. All right. So explaining this concept to Robert, he begins as quickly as he can, webbing back and forth on the ground to make a big sticky square.
As Robert is making the square, I'm using the pointy stick I have in my hand. I'm using the greatsword, and I'm taking the corners of the tarp and whatnot and trying to get them all centered in one area, so that way this fire instead goes in instead of out.
Ooh, very good. I like that. Do a survival check for that move.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 18 for a 22 total.
All right, so Adewale is successful in kicking most of the flammable material into and away from where it can spread, so that way the fire is growing taller but not wider.
It's a bonfire.
Does this fire seem supernatural anyway?
It does not, but it does look like it was obviously deliberately made.
Okay, so we could actually.
Good. Lathander, what are you up to?
Luthander's actually just watching at the moment, not really seeing how he can contribute in any meaningful way. But he's really keen to get to Mother Sylvenza and if the fire doesn't look like it's spreading, he's just going to keep watching, not get in the way. Particularly
passive observation. That's a technique.
Well, particularly as we've got a 7 foot something person sorting out the flammable stuff. So,
and as Robert continues to, as fast as his 8 little legs can spin around, lay that webbing down in the square, you hear the jingle jangle of bells on hat as Zani comes running up again. I got the water, Nevitz! As he throws it on the halfling again.
Okay. Is there anyone besides Zani trying to actually put out the fire? Like, are the rest of the Hanataz part of the fire brigade?
There's people running towards you, but he's the closest available person to help.
He's the closest person. There's a difference.
Fair.
But why don't it just burn out? That's my underlying. I mean, if it's contained, yes, it's a problem. But
I mean,
I'm just wondering if we can leave it.
Nevitz is going to continue to kick all the straw from between the tents away if Adewale is going to continue to kind of push the flame towards the center. But he will continue to scream out fire and try to contain it as much as possible.
All right.
Yes, Jericho?
I kind of gesture to Zani, like clearly he's not helping with the fire at all. I'm going to just pull him away and try to glean as much information as I can from him. I keep I'm asking him a lot of questions about these guys. Like, I want to have like a private conversation, a little discussion with him, about everything. I want to rack his memory. I'm also complimenting him a good bit about his bells. Like, they're looking especially shiny today.
Oh, well, thank you, Jericho. That really means a lot. People always underestimate how hard it is to be a clown. It's actually a lot of work. It's pretty good cardio when you think about it. Jericho, give me a difficulty class 20 perception check.
Ooh.
Telling me the DC. Interesting.
I am, for dramatic effect.
Yeah.
I just rolled a 19 on the die. I think that's... Let's see here. What I got a bonus here for? I
Minus
think
2.
I have like a 5. So
Ooh,
plus 5 to that. So, yeah, I got it.
Yes.
All right. So, Jericho, as you flatter, perhaps genuinely, perhaps not, Zani's floppy belled hat, you happen to notice that there's a little frayed string where one of the bells is missing.
Ah, what happened to your bell?
He reaches up and he touches the end of his hat. Give me an insight check.
Ooh, okay, let's see here. That is a 16.
So you can tell that Zani's genuinely worried. He's not pantomime or like fake panicking for dramatic effect. He's genuinely worried about the missing bell. Oh, well, gosh, I didn't even realize that had fallen off. Where could it have gone? Oh, geez, thanks, Jericho. I would have looked like a fool running around without my bell.
No problem. Now, do you remember anything else about those 3 guys outside the tent?
Oh, yeah, sir. They were guys. There were 3 of them. They all look like townies. It was kind of weird that one of them was carrying a torch in the middle of the day, but, you got to give some people some slack. Everyone comes to the carnival for different reasons.
And you didn't see where they went?
No, I was really just kind of going to do what you told me to do, to go set up the stage for that play about the demons. Right. Everyone's super stoked about it.
Yeah, I got a whole number in it with some pyrotechnic.
Oh, that's gonna be a real knee slapper.
Well, I'll kind of look. Just can you tell Mother Sylvenza to talk to her?
Oh, sir, of course. You can count on Zani. That's what some people say.
I'm counting on you right now, Zani. And I give him this really uncanny stare into your soul kind of look.
So Zani looks you dead in the eye, all the humor going from his face, as he reaches out with a chalk pencil and makes 3 lines on Jericho's cheek. Says, and now I'm counting on you.
Hilarious.
And then he turns and books it towards the Mother Sylvenza's tent, his bells jangling as he goes.
Seeing the script above Jericho's head when she was talking about pyrotechnics, Nevitz would snap his head up and look at Jericho and say, "Do you have the pyrotechnic spell?"
It's all illusory. Why do you
Oh,
ask?
never mind. That makes sense. That's a second level spell because pyrotechnics can turn fire into smoke.
Sorry, buddy.
But Nevis, as you and Jericho consult about potential solutions to the immediate problem, you see a woman with amethyst-colored hair running towards you in an outfit that is probably not appropriate for public. But Nevitz, you recognize this, and everyone recognizes it immediately as Mavea, one of the spell dancers from the troupe.
Mavea, sister, are there more coming? We need a bucket brigade to make sure we put this out so it doesn't spread.
So Mavea looks down to Nevitz and says, "No time. We need the Everflow." And she widens her feet beyond shoulder width, and you see her move her hands in a strange, almost hypnotic pattern before she makes a sudden oomph motion with her palm, and a massive gust of wind rushes out from her arm to extinguish the blaze, as per the second level gust of wind spell.
Thank you, sister. You did not happen to see 3 thugs dressed similarly in brown clothing running or walking away swiftly from this location, did you?
She, with a hand on her hip, she runs her fingers through her hair and says, "Truth be told, I've seen more than 3 thugs the past several days coming to and fro. No, I was in the tent of Vales performing. I only heard about shouting. Saw the smoke, came here. What happened?"
Arson. It was a set of townies who have ill intent, and they may try to pin future crimes on us. We Zadis must be off to Mother Silvenza. We must tell her of what might come.
She nods gravely. "Is there anything I can do to help?"
I think Nevitz would look up to the rest of the group and see if there's anything that comes to mind.
Can I have a conversation with you, please?
And so she cocks her head to the side as she looks at Adewale. "Of course. What do you need, brother?"
I wasn't expecting to get this. Oh, actually, I don't need to talk to you right now. I was just fraternizing. Out of character. I have a question. I'm assuming I'm done sweeping up the things with a greatsword. Can I poke around where the entrance to the tent tarp was to look for stuff, just to see if there's any kind of clues whatsoever? Just
Sure.
kind of like awesome.
Give me an investigation check for that.
Oh yeah, plus uno. Okay, bad 16.
Jericho did something?
Yeah, so I have a question about Zani. Can I see where he's going after I don't?
Yeah. Give me a perception check, DC 12.
I think like as I talk to him, I would be paying attention very closely to see if he's going towards his tent. That was mine there.
Okay. Yeah, he looked like he was running in the general direction of it.
I kind of want to follow him to do that.
Okay.
So I'm going to do my perception check first of all, and that's an 11. That's a 16.
Okay. So Jericho, you're able to shadow Zani without much trouble as Adewale digs around in the area around where the fire had started, the tent flap. And there you see what looks like a piece of flint, like someone would use to strike a torch. But you note that this flint has some sort of faded symbol etched onto it.
I pick up the flint and I'm wiping it off to see if getting the soot and all their dirt and grime off of it. And I want to inspect it to see if I recognize or if I can patch together what this symbol is.
As you look closely, you see that the symbol that is etched on the piece of flint is the same one you saw this morning etched on the Moonshine's shack.
Oh. I'm going to pocket it. And then I'll regroup with my friends and sibling.
So as you regroup, Robert turns expectantly to Moore with almost like what would be a proud look for a spider if they had a proper face. given that he's now made this enormous, perfectly square patch of web on the ground in front of you.
I look to Robert. I look to the fire that's now gone. And I look back to Robert and shrug my shoulders and say, good job, Robert. Why do we even... You know what? That's for you, buddy.
Yes, thank you. Food?
Yay! I will get you food later.
Food.
Would a chicken suffice, or it has to be cow?
Do chickens have blood?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I will bring you a chicken on the way back, Robert, I promise.
And you see that he's been shake his thorax excitedly.
Disgusting. I'm gonna leave Robert to it and join the group.
All right.
It's the bug shaker.
Luthander and Nevitz, what are you up to?
Nevitz is probably prestidigitationing a lot of water out of his pantaloons and his hair, and waiting for the party to get back together so we can go to Mother Silvenza.
Okay. So as everyone else is rallying up, Jericho, you were the first one there to see Zani run up to Mother Silvenza's tent, at the Cirrus tent, and you see him dart inside.
All right. I guess are the rest of the party very far away?
They're about maybe, let me check real quick, distance from tents. Your companions are they're only about 150 feet from you, but they're on the other side of the tall tent that sits in the center of the Carnival, so you can
Go around.
It's as the crow flies, they have to weave their way around some tentage to get to where you are right now.
All right. Well, I'm gonna cast like dancing lights, and there's gonna be like a big, like neon flashing arrow, and then the text above it says, "I'm here, guys."
And the locals ooh and ah as they see the show extending above Jericho's head.
I'm standing underneath the arrow, triumphant.
Question.
Yes?
Would they necessarily need a torch if they had a flint to light or would they just need the flint to light the tarp ablaze?
So with flint, you could start a fire eventually, soon enough. But because the torch is soaked in pitch, it lights a lot faster.
Okay.
I'm gonna dip into the tent now with Zani.
Okay. And so inside the tent, you can see Mother Sylvenza there at the table, crouched over her crystal ball that's swirling with mists. And she looks less than pleased to have Zani in the tent with her. And as Zani is excitedly saying everything that is coming to his mind, exactly the moment that it comes to mind. So Zani, she's like, oh, and hey, this is, look, just like I was saying, Jericho had all this crazy stuff happening, but don't worry, we're going to make this demon play totally awesome. Everyone's going to love it. Mother Sylvanza looks to Jericho. Child, of what does he speak?
Well, did he tell you about the 3 men that lit the tent on fire?
Mother Sylvenza looks to Zani with narrow eyes. No, he neglected to mention part of evildoers and arson. Jericho, Zati, my beloved, what is going on? You and friends were supposed to protect the Carnivale. What has happened?
Well, I told Zani to tell you what he saw outside our tent. Someone tried to seal us in the extra tent. Anyhow, we were trapped inside. They lit it on fire. Unfortunately, it looks as though Zani didn't know which direction they ran, which confuses me because he left the tent right after these men approached the tent. Mother Silvenza, it seems like Zani's keeping something from us. And then I glare at Zani.
Zani looks and says, Mother Silvenza, it's true. I've been keeping a lot of things from Jericho.
Oh, God.
Go on.
Well, Jericho, there was a time, about 3 days ago, when I blew my nose in your wig. And the other day, when we were all having breakfast, I had terrible flatulence, but I blamed it on Taylene. She was so mad at me, but, it just felt like it was really funny at the time. And I knew that Nevitz wanted the water for the fire, but I just couldn't pass up the opportunity to do something really silly. So I'm sorry. I've put my clown duties ahead of the family, and for that I apologize. It's just, I take clowning so seriously, Jericho. I hope one day you find something that you love as much as I love being a clown.
I'm just sort of like, there's a little more subtlety to comedy than just being obnoxious, buddy.
Zani thinks about this. I think you're right, Jericho. Can we sit down and talk about this? I really want to have a heart-to-heart.
We can, but not right now. Now, are you sure you don't know where those men went? You didn't see it? Because if you did, tell us now. Mother Sylvenza is probably not going to be happy if you're keeping that from us. I look at Mother Sylvenza.
She shakes a gnarled finger at Zani. Yes, no more keeping secrets. It is very important for safety of troop. Something evil is afoot. And Zani says, "Nope, I'm sorry. I don't know where those guys went, but if I see them again, I'll be sure to let you know." I mean, boy, it was super weird that they were walking around with scabbards, but, you just kind of figured that if they got through Borag and you guys, that they must be legit.
How close are we?
Jericho, why are you looking at me like that?
I just shake my head and shrug. I don't think we're getting anywhere with this, but you might want to keep your eye on him.
And Zani nods gravely, the bells jingling in his hat. In fact, I think it might be good to keep both eyes on me, because if you only kept one, that might make you really dizzy.
Jericho, face palms and then sighs. She, looks over to Mother Silvenza. I think the rest of the troop, the security that is, I think we're going to be here pretty soon. The rest of them have a lot to tell you as well.
Mother Sylvenza nods in appreciation. You have done good work, Zati. I am proud. I know that Borag is proud too, and Kanasi, Brian, all the others. I know this has been a trying day, and a day of ill intent, even the day of the year. But I have faith you and your friends can yet do what we need to protect the troop.
Protect the troop.
Zani nods, bells jingling. I believe in you too, Jericho.
I glare at him. Don't you have clowning to do elsewhere?
Oh, yes, that's right. I'm going to come up with some good ones. Don't you worry. If you need me, I'll be out of the stage. And he jingle-jangles his way out of the Sirius's tent.
Do we bump into him as he exits, or do we just pass each other by?
So yeah, as you approach the tent, you see Zani coming out. Oh, hey, Zani, what's going on? Jericho's already inside. I think Jericho's a little mad at me, though.
Understandably so. I saw you blow your nose in her wig, and I thought it was funny myself, but it was quite rude.
Well, that means a lot to me, Adewale,
But don't do it again. Listen.
No promises.
I understand that with you. I'll take out the flint and put it out symbol side and show it to him. More like a vice grip, so that way he can't take it out of my hand, though. I'll show it to him. Have you seen this symbol anywhere before, buddy? Have you seen this before?
Oh, yeah. That symbol? Of course.
Where?
Oh, you haven't checked out the tattoo tent?
Aside from there, anywhere else, Zani?
Oh, yeah. I've seen it on a bunch of tattoos. So, there's this one guy, and then a big guy, and then someone who I thought was a guy, but then had a really high-pitched voice, so it's kind of the jury's out there. But there's been a bunch of people who've been getting that tattoo.
All right. Well, that's all I need from you. Skedaddle.
If there's anything else I can do, I just want you to know, as Zani puts a hand on your shoulder and says, don't rely on me.
Wasn't planning on it.
Very prudent, as he jingle-jangles his way off. And as Zani departs, you hear another slightly faint, almost apologetic jingle-jangle to see one of the other Harlequins approach. You see Columbina there looking... Well, if she didn't have makeup caked all over her face, you could almost see that she was blushing out of embarrassment. So, I feel I may have taken things a little too far with almost killing Anton and then stealing the candles that he needs for his healing rituals. So, my bad.
Oh, you're going to return the candles and mark one thing off our list, yes?
So, yes. As she reaches into the pouch that she has on her hip and pulls out the candles that she has just artfully snuffed out with her fingertips and hands them over and says, yeah, it seemed a lot funnier in my head, but I'm only a clown in training. I'm not a pro like Zani, so maybe one day the timing will just be better, but right now it seems like you're really busy and you seem kind of stressed. So I think I'll do a re-engagement with the joke when you've had some time to rest a bit. Be cool?
Sensing tension, Nevitt stands behind Luthander to get away from more.
My eye
Luthander
twitches.
is just admiring the way Moore is staring with such narrowed eyes. Yeah, clearly annoyed.
Yes, more?
Tomorrow I will find you, but today I don't have time for this. Moore just wags her finger at her and just turns to walk into the tent.
And as you pass, Columbina turns to Lathander and says, oh, Talion says hi. She said a lot of things, actually, some of which were a little disturbing, but I assume you'll sort all that out later.
Like what?
Were any promises made or assumed when you last met?
What kind of promises do you mean?
Well, I think she actually went over to the smithing stall to get some bracelets made that are matching.
Okay. Luthander has the look you would expect a 16 or 17-year-old to have at that moment.
Can you describe this look for us, though?
Yeah, he is looking terrified, panicked, and puzzled all at the same time. And just, is like, puts his head down, starts rubbing his forehead, sighs, and says, sounds like there's a few things that we need to clear up. Did Talion say anything else?
Given what Moore just said, maybe that's like a tomorrow discussion.
I just call over my shoulder. You can break her heart tomorrow, Luthander. We have too much to do today.
Could you just give me like a general idea? It would put my mind.
Literally, the world might be ending. But this young man has his priority.
Yeah.
Well, don't want to misconstrue the nature of the conversation, but there was something with bracelets and something with Darktide coming up and something with she was talking to Brian about getting the wagons rearranged so that you two would be together when we break camp for Prontadol, which is like a week away. So that's going to be a long ride together if you're not actually dating.
Okay. Appreciate the information. Thank you.
I am glad to have been assistance. I'm not totally evil, just slightly evil, but in a funny way.
Yeah, you're hilarious. Thank you.
Happy to be of service as Columbina jingle jangles her way off back towards the crowd, leaving the group of you with Mother Sylvenza in her tent.
Yes, let's get back to saving the world. Thank you for the moment to sort my personal life out, which I failed to do.
It wouldn't be the first. So,
Little teen
as
drama.
you all arrive in the tent, you see the Mother Sylvenza, with a very serious look on her face, waving her wrinkled palm over the crystal ball, letting the mist swirl inside. Since there's been much turmoil with you young Zatis, please tell me, what has gone awry with your mission of help today?
So, I want to make sure I get this on the record. Nevitz is going to wait outside. He will be listening at the tent, but he just wants to make sure that there's no passersby inside. Second of all, is Fezzi in the tent?
Fezzi's not in the tent.
Okay, then. Nevitz is outside keeping guard. He'll keep an ear close and let the rest of the party describe what happened.
Hold on, I want to look up a duration of a spell before we continue. See if I should give this to you. Okay, it's only a minute, so never mind. Proceed.
It's all right.
So Luthander's going to suggest that we perhaps provide a quick overview in 2 categories, but hey, open to more. 1, visions. So me and Moore, and the dagger, and 2, all the other weird stuff that's happening that is not in the weird vision category. Does that seem like a reasonable approach?
Yeah, and specifically, definitely wanting to mention the mention of, was it devil or demon?
Yes.
Demons. It was
Demons, thank you. And also kind of some of our theories that the cult is behind this. The 3 people might be part of the cult because they're wearing robes. And Moore would want to put forward her theory that maybe it's not the end of the world, and Luthander's visions are coming from the dagger.
And so Mother Sylvenza nods as she extends one old, wrinkled hand towards Lathander and says, "Please, child, take my hand."
Who?
Okay.
Oh.
To Lathander.
Okay.
Okay. I'll take her hand.
So she gives it a firm squeeze, surprisingly strong for an old lady, but she closes her eyes for a moment. She opens them. She says, "You, child, do not have the sight. These visions must have come from this cursed item." And then she extends her other hand to Moore. "Please, child, take my hand."
I'm okay, thank you. My visions have stopped, so we're good there. By the way, the queen also might die. Let's focus on that. Ooh, scary.
Queen?
Yes. The necromancer. He's on the loose. He's not dead, and he's after the queen because we killed the spider queen. So a queen for a queen. That's more important.
Child, you must be mistaken. Zoranthia is a republic. There's no queen here.
Wait, what? So when somebody threatens your queen, what could that possibly mean?
Speaking as metaphor?
Sure, why not?
Anyone, perhaps. A woman in position of authority and power. Perhaps Kalnasi, a member of the Bondurant Council, might qualify.
Oh. We should probably warn her instead of doing what you were going to do. I think warning her seems like the most pressing matter of today, right, guys? Isn't that correct?
Let her hold her hand.
Nevitz yell from outside, "No!"
Luthander is actually going to just motion to Moore if she's willing to just step aside for a sec. You know,
absolutely.
Vision to vision.
Of course.
And say that would you consider holding Mother Silvenza's hand? I think she might be able to provide some insight, even if these visions have stopped, that might help us resolve this all faster so we can have that long rest. I think we all want the long rest.
Fine.
It might help. And I'm sure she's a woman who is discreet. I'm sure she won't say anything.
Luthander, if this backfires, I know your weakness now. And I turn to Mother Silvenza.
Yeah, which one?
And I will tell your girlfriend about this. And
I don't have a girlfriend.
I'll turn to Mother Silvenza and I will begrudgingly put my hand in her hand and kind of like look away, not making eye contact.
So Mother Silvenza takes your hand, gives it a firm squeeze for a moment that's just a bit longer than comfortable. Closes her eyes. When she opens them, she says, "Child, you do not have the gift of sight." She releases your hand.
Okay, wow.
That Luthander feels a whole lot less good about this now.
Moore is beaming at this.
Please, whatever warning you must provide, please do so. I know that the Bondurants have put great faith in you, and you have shown yourself to be people of incredible ability. Surely, if you stick together and fulfill your duties, the day will be done before you know it. Even a day as ominous as Darktide's Eve cannot last forever.
There's a creeping suspicion in the back of Moore's mind. And as much as she doesn't want to do this, can I check to see if she's lying? And this is really Mother Silvenza.
Yeah, make an insight check.
Okay.
See if Mother Silvenza is being honest with you.
I rolled that virtually, sorry. 10.
So, I mean, there's no indication that she is withholding information or attempting to deliberately deceive you.
Okay. I'm happy again.
Luthander will ask Mother Silvenza, based on what we've told you, do you have anything else that you can tell us?
Revealed that there were 3 men that tried to kill you. Started a fire?
Yes.
And you, Luthander, you somehow have a connection to where these villains could have run off to?
Yes. They're trying to kill some priests.
This is a thing of great evil. You must stop them. Stop them from this.
Can we do that tomorrow?
Once Mother Sylvanza has responded to the "can we do it tomorrow," I will describe the priestly garbs, unless we recognize who the priests are, as in what god they worship.
No, you couldn't discern that from your brief snippets.
Oh, okay. So I couldn't describe it and get any more information.
Right.
Okay, fine.
But Mother Sylvanza looks at Moore with that kind of grandmotherly look of disappointment, like that she expected more of you. Like, if you have information that could save a life in a way that would protect the reputation of the Blue Veil Troop, my child, you know the answer.
But I'm tired.
I'm not.
We're all very tired.
I like a little like red bulb appears above. I guess it wouldn't be a bulb. It would be a little kind of like spark, a little red spark, like kind of like you know, like in comic books when like Peter Parker has like the spider sense tingling, and like there's little zigzags above his head. That's what's happening above my head right now, and I like pipe up and I say, speaking of reputation, Mother Silvenza, did you hear about the Halo incident?
Halo incident? Of what you speak, child?
Well, in the square earlier, there was some kind of red halo that appeared above my head. It was bright, and I didn't notice it at first. I don't know what it is or what it means, but...
You have always had a unique gift, child. It would seem that your essence has been touched by that of Goddess of Light, one of the 3 goddesses who watches over all Hanataz. This is great sign and great honor.
So, this was a symbol of that, of this goddess touching me?
Perhaps. I would have to consult the spirits to be sure.
Please do. Yeah, what do I know about the Goddess of Light? Do I know anything about that?
Make a religion check on that.
Okay. Let's see, that's 13. I don't think I'm proficient in that, to be honest, at all. I don't think I know too much about religion, but let's take a look-see. Yeah, it looks like a 15. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, certainly. So you would know enough that Heliona is one of the patron goddesses of the Hanataz, that there are some fairly interesting legends going back to very ancient times about the creation of Zyathe and Heliona's unique contributions to the current configuration of the Pantheon, along with Kismea and Jinx, the other goddesses that watch over the Hanataz. There are some ominous legends that you can just barely remember, but in the moment, you get vague details that these goddesses did something specifically to protect the Hanataz, but you don't remember in the moment what. And as this is going on inside the tent, Nevitz spots a familiar figure arriving at the tent. It is none other than Fezzi with a fresh bag of humber nuts that she's just happily munching as she stands just maybe double arm's length away from Nevitz, staring at him with her big goo eyes.
Hi, Fezzi.
Hi, Nevitz.
2 questions, since you seem to be just about everywhere. Have you seen any pictures? You might have seen tattoos of men that have a bit of a demon skull with some kind of grain coming out the backside. Have you seen that sign anywhere that we saw from the distillery?
Oh, yes. Yes. As she munches another humber nut.
Where else have you seen that sign, Fezzi?
Oh, the jackets of the 3 guys who burned down the tent, they all had that sign.
I should have skipped ahead. Fezzi, did you see where those 3 men headed off to?
Uh-huh.
Fezzi, please tell me where those 3 men headed off to.
Oh, sure. And she points her little finger off to the forest trail in the northeast. They were taking that path down by the creek to go back to town.
Fezzi, I assume after hearing Smedley talk about the dead body, you went and searched it, or at least inspected.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see any specific religious symbols on the dead man, matching any of the gods of the Hanataz?
I can't read.
It's a picture.
Great. Final question. Have you seen that mechanical type bird that you saw myself and the group bring to the ground when it was spying on us as we were going to the old well?
Ooh, the red-tailed hawk? Mm-hmm.
Did you see that in the exact same direction the 3 men were walking?
Sort of, but it's up in the tree.
Let me just throw out. Fezzi, is there anything else you think I should just know? I feel you're in on most of what we're doing.
Oh, yeah. Watch out for the Gooey Cube. He's gonna kill you.
You say that. In your vision of the Gooey Cube, where did it do the killing of our Zatis?
Mostly kind of like a smothering thing. Like you were stuck inside and your arms were flailing and then you just kind of dissolved.
I would hate that to befall you, so I think you should probably stay and watch after Mother Silvenza. And again, I have tried lying 3 times today, and each one with utter defeat, except to Zani. So I'm not going to try to pull the wool over your eyes. I truly believe there is a threat against Mother Silvenza, and I would truly appreciate it if you would keep watch over her. Be prepared to call some other adults in to rescue her if you see anything nefarious happen.
Okay.
When you say okay, are you going to stay near this tent and stay near Mother Silvenza and not follow us?
Uh-huh.
For the duration of the day?
Uh-huh.
I owe you multiple gold and silver pieces so you can buy whatever you want. Thank you very much, Fezzi.
Can you give them to me before you die?
Why not? He pulls out 1 gold and 3 silver that we took from the distillery, and he gives that to her.
She takes them. She looks at them in her palm for a moment, looks to the tent, looks back to her palm, and hands one of the silves back to Nevin and said, "Can you buy me some more humber nuts, please?"
I'll bring them on the way back.
Okay.
Nevitz goes inside the tent, and he just looks up and says, I think I know where the murderers are headed.
And that's where we'll pause for the session.
Why didn't we go to Fezzi first? Why do we keep going to Mother Silvenza?
That's a really good question. We're kind of expecting some sort of wisdom. And she's like, it's all fine.
She's walking exposition. How have we not been going to the source? We should just put her and Smedley down and ask them 20 questions, and we could probably go right to the boss at the end of this book.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us on Visions, Veiled, and Violent, a D&D actual play of Gooey Cube's Darkest Dream adventure from the Red Star Rising campaign. Check out their amazing content at gooeycube.com. Also, a special thank you to Tabletop Audio for providing the fantastic music that accompanied this episode. As ever, please like, rate, and subscribe to us wherever you get your podcast. And if you can, help us out at the Patreon by supporting us at the $3 tier. We hope to continue to share our collective storytelling with the community, and that's all made possible by your support. So please, tell your friends. Remember, you don't know the burdens others have carried to arrive at your gaming table, so be kind. Safe travels until next week, when we return to Visions, Veiled, and Violent.